Let me ask you this from a Tampa perspective. Who concerns you the most, or who should concern you the most if you're Sheldon Keefe or just a general fan watching this series? Who would it be for you?
You got Kucherov. I think he's so well rounded. He can get physical. He can bang. He can get right in there gritty, and he's also just phenomenally talented. So he's a guy to watch for sure. That could be their X factor. And obviously, Andre Vasilevsky is a premier
Yeah.
goaltender who, if he decides to stand on his head, he can be one of those goalies where you can throw the kitchen sink at the guy, and the team can have a shitty performance in front of him, and he can just steal the show and win the game on his own shoulders. He's capable of that. So I mean, if that happens, that's going to be tough to run into. But at the end of the day, you got to solve that problem and get it by him and not allow him to have that game by just continue to pepper him and work the power play and get shots on and get traffic and get him off his game and not allow him to steal a game.
Aside from Vasilevsky, there's actually two guys that come to mind for me. Number one is Braden Point, maybe the quietest 51 goals you'll see if you do remember. Didn't play game 6 or 7 last spring, and Tampa still found a way behind Nick Paul and his brilliance late in that series. And of course, we all know what Vasilevsky and his numbers he puts up late in the series. And the other guy I would bring up is by far the number one defenseman playing in this series, and that's Victor Hedman. Having said that, he hasn't looked Hedman like throughout this season, but night and day, he is the best defenseman in this series from a matchup standpoint. I'm very curious to see who Sheldon Keefe, at least on home ice, puts against Victor Hedman. But he's just one of those guys. There's a reason why he's one of the best on the planet, right, Rosie?
Yeah, he's big, he's strong, he's smart, he's poised, he can skate, he can move the puck, and he's got experience coming out the yin yang. He's a dangerous defenseman, and he's a huge asset to their team. And I mean, what he's got, what that whole group's got left in the tank. I mean, it is a grind. You go through, two Stanley Cups plus an extra final and the COVID bubble and the condensed seasons, and these guys have been going, and that can wear on you physically and mentally. And we'll see how much pushback they got because they're up against a Maple Leafs team that is bloody hungry. They are good. They are pissed off. They've got something to prove. It's going to be no small task for them to step up to the plate and to win this series. But again, they've got that experience and that pedigree that says they're capable of doing it. So just so many reasons to be pumped about this series, man. I literally can't wait.